Hi Kevin, this is George Sherritt. I've just finished doing your inspection here, and I thought we'd go through the pictures together, see if we can get rid of that glare. That's better, a little bit. That's the front of the house. I'll put that on the front of my report. The stonework out front doesn't have any kind of flashing across the top, and that's one of the things whenever I see a cultured stone like this or brick veneer, it's a good idea to have it sealed between this piece here and the siding. So you could caulk this, or you could have a contractor put flashing up under here, but you don't want water to be able to get behind there. There's wood framing behind that. Some of the butt joints on the siding, the caulk has failed, and so water could get in, so that should be recaulked where needed. It's another example. On some of the windowsills and the windows of the front porch that are original single pane, there's a little bit of wood rot in the sills and also in the wood frames. Right here is a little bit of damage. This is the front deck. A couple of the support posts are buried down in the ground. It is treated lumber and it's rated for ground contact, but anytime you put wood in contact with the ground, it will shorten its life. You might want to dig here and see, is there actually a metal bracket with concrete down there that you could expose and then get the dirt away from the wood? If it's just buried in the wood, there's not a whole lot to do. In 10 years when it rots, replace it. That's about it. All the vents for the foundation have styrofoam blocks in them, and it's kind of an old school of thought to do that to keep your water pipes from freezing. The water pipes are well insulated. The problem it creates is it does create a warm, moist environment under the house, which is ideal for insects. So, I don't know if this is an idea you're wedded to. Stick them in there when the weather forecast is for, those single-digit temperatures that we used to get for a week each winter, and then take them out, because you don't want to leave them in a place like this. My camera turned that sideways for some reason. A couple of the soffits, birds have been getting up in here and making nests, so they need to be sealed a little better. This is the dryer vent on the right wall of the house. It's got quite a lot of lint in it, so it won't close completely. So that'll let cold air in or potentially leave it open to starlings. So I'd recommend that dryer vent be cleaned. On the back set of stairs for the back porch, unfortunately they poured the concrete right up to the stairs that were already probably sitting on concrete. And so that created a couple of situations. One is the wood's down in the concrete, so that's going to cause it to fail prematurely. And also it changed the height of the first riser quite a bit. This is only about 2 inches, where this is about 6. So I think you're allowed a 1/4 inch variance between risers on stairs. And that's obviously really different. The thing is, your body knows how far to pick your foot up. And so when they vary like that, it's easy to trip over it. Kind of not a whole lot you can do about it right now, short of, you'd have to tear the stairs out and rebuild them. I think if it was me, I'd tell my friends about it. Hey, watch that first step. Because you would have to totally recut all 3 stringers all the way up the stairs to correct that. The rails on the front and the back deck are too wide to be considered a graspable rail. A graspable rail is something you can actually get your hand all the way around, so if you were to slip, you might not lose your grip. When it's as wide as a 2x4, if you slip, your hand's just going to come off. And that could be added right on top of the 2x4. Just a recommendation, it would make the railing safer. Same thing, that's the tread height. I'm at the back far corner of the property because I was looking to see the pitch of the roof here over the kitchen. It's a very shallow. It has asphalt shingle roofing, and you can use that down to a pitch of 3 and 12, and I think that's considerably less than 3 and 12 slope. I got out this window later and took pictures up here. We'll come back to that. Same thing. This is a sewer vent that's coming out through the wall here and up the wall part way. It's kind of an old way we used to vent. We didn't always run them up through the roof and out. It's not going to hurt anything. The only, if you were in the backyard on a hot summer evening and you smelt sewer gas, this would probably be where it's coming from. So if that became a problem, you can have a plumber extend that and go up through the eave and then have it vent out on top of the roof like we do now. The block wall there where the sewer line exits is open, so that can let cold air in and rodents in, so I'd recommend that be sealed. There's also damage to the original front door, just the glass storm door on the front porch. It looks like old carpenter ant damage or wood rot. It's hard to tell, but doesn't look current. There's more. A couple windows are missing out of that front area as well. This one's broken. This one's missing. So have a contractor fix that. Again, that's the rail on the front's too wide to be considered a graspable rail. The weather stripping on the front door has been damaged probably by an animal scratching at it. You can go to Home Depot and buy those pieces and they just pull out and the new ones pop in. This is the Williams wall blower wall heater in the living room, and this flexible appliance connector here can't go through this opening. This has to be either sleeved to protect it or have the hard piping, the black iron, extended up and then connect it. The problem with this is this has been stamped in a factory and then knocked out, and these edges are very sharp, and if this was in contact with the edge over time, just the vibration of someone walking through the room, it can wear a hole in it because it's very thin-walled pipe. So have a licensed HVAC contractor fix that. Stove looked like it was in good shape. The bricks were in good shape. The gasket on the door here looked relatively new. I did take a picture of the top of the flue on the roof, and it had a fair amount of creosote around it and on it, so it probably needs to be cleaned. The transition of the floors between the living room and the kitchen is kind of abrupt. You could do sort of a ramp there that would smooth that out. It wouldn't be an easy thing to fix necessarily. I mean, you could do that. It would look kind of funny. The right thing to do would have been to build this whole floor up, and that would have included the laundry room. So that would have been a lot of plywood. And the bathroom, I'm noticing. That's probably why they didn't do it. The weather stripping on the back door is also damaged and could be replaced. This is Romex underneath the kitchen sink that runs over to the garbage disposal, and it's not really allowed to take a piece of Romex and turn it into an extension cord. They've put a plug on the end of it here and run it over. It's also in an area that we would say is subject to damage, so it should be in a conduit to protect it. The stove doesn't have its anti-tipping device installed, so I'd recommend that be installed so you can't have the stove tip and have a pot of hot water or whatever slide off. The fan for the stove just blows back into the room. It's always nice to have the fan remove, if you've burnt something, to take the smoke out of the house. If you're cooking a big pot of something, to get the moisture out of the house. So you could have a contractor vent that to the outside. That, I think, was my camera going off accidentally. Oh, this is in the first floor bathroom. The faucet and the faucet spout aren't attached to the structure, and so you can move it quite a bit side by side, and over time that can I tried to move it one way and take a picture and then move it the other. It can cause the fittings to come loose and leak, so I'd recommend a plumber get in behind here and secure that to the wall. The stairs to the second floor are steeper than has been allowed for a long time. That's pretty typical in a house this age. Usually the attics weren't intended to be living space, and then at some point someone said, hey, that's a lot of usable room. So they put in a set of stairs, and to have it not take up too much space, they tend to be steeper than we do now. Also, the railing ends before the last tread at the top of the stairs. Ideally, you want to be able to grasp the rail before you commit to going down the stairs, so you might want to have this extended for safety. That would improve the safety of the stairs. There's the chimney cap for the wood stove, and you can see it has quite a lot of creosote built up in it, so there's likely creosote down in the pipe as well. There's a little bit of moss on the roof above the back kitchen area, so putting some moss killer in there would be my suggestion. This is also the area that's probably about 1.5 to maybe 2 in 12. What that means, if you went 12 inches upslope, you would have rised, say, 2 inches. A normal pitch roof is 4 in 12 or 5 in 12. So I'd recommend you have a roofer look at that. There's a few things you can do when you use asphalt comp shingles on a roof that's this shallow. One of them is you shorten the courses, and they didn't do that. The other one is that you double tar paper, and I wasn't able to find any place that I could verify that. Since they didn't shorten the courses, I would doubt if they double tar papered it, but it has the potential to leak because of that. So like I said, have a licensed roofer look at it and see what they say about it. So window screens are missing in several places. It always stops me for a second when I take a picture of something that's not there, but that's what I'm trying to do here. I saw some screens upstairs just sitting in corners. There may be screens for every window. I didn't count them. This is the second floor window in the front of the house. The trim is buckled in the heat and failed the caulk here in quite a few places, so that needs to be nailed back in place. That's about a 1/4 inch gap here. Nailed back in place and then recaulked. Same thing on the other side. There are carbon monoxide alarms in the house on each floor, like there need to be. There's the second one. The second floor doesn't have any direct heat source. It has what I would call a passive heat source. This is just a hole in the floor basically with a grate over it, and there's a corresponding hole in the ceiling of the living room that would allow heat to go upstairs. I don't know what an appraiser would say about that. I will try to look into that, but hopefully that'll be okay, especially given the age of the house. The hot water heater's in the crawl space under the house, and it had a insulation blanket around it, so I wasn't able to tell you everything that I normally would about it. It looks pretty new. You know, it's probably 2 or 3 years old. It's made by A.O. Smith. This is the temperature pressure release valve. They don't open often, but when they do, scalding hot water and steam shoots out. So it's intended that there be an extension pipe on this that goes to the outside. So I'd recommend a licensed plumber take care of that. There's the A.O. Smith. I was able to peel back a little bit and see. It's called a low boy. You know, it's not as tall as a normal hot water heater, but it's quite larger around. So it's probably at least a 50-gallon tank. But like I said, I can't see the label, so I can't tell you. And that was this morning's project. After you've seen this and you've read my report, if you have questions, you're more than welcome to call me. Thanks.